Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 13th zone 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Also, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. All the training lessons are already available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. To access the training lessons at our channel homepage, click on the tab post, then you get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that is having all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions provided at our Telegram channel. You can find the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Join at our Telegram channel. In the old messages, you can find training instructions, or even you can find in the pinned messages also. Okay, now let's get into the report generation. First, I am going to generate stocks near daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones, so that you can identify HLQ zones, high liquidity zones. You can use it for HLQ zone strategy that you learned in lesson 21.3 video. Okay, for daily time frame, stocks near to the daily demand zone, we got only 3 stocks. Are there any high liquidity demand zones? No, we don't have any daily high liquidity demand zones from this list for our HLQ zone strategy. Okay, next, for daily time frame, stocks near to the daily supply zone, we got 13 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. Nifty IT having high liquidity zone, but it is not listed in F&O, so I am ignoring it. Bajaj Finserv is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. It is also having daily high liquidity demand zone. So you may get trade opportunities either side. Next one is Burger Paints having a daily high liquidity supply zone. And then Bharat Forge is also having a daily high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We got 3 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Nika is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We got 175 minutes high liquidity demand zone from this list. Next, stocks near to the 75 minutes supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Any high liquidity 75 minutes supply zones? No, we don't have any 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, this is about identification of high liquidity zones for daily, from daily and 75 minutes time frame for our HLQ zone strategy. Next, I will generate Nifty and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain reports. Nifty generating monthly supply demand zone chain report. Okay, this is Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain report. Always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones, and also LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Accordingly, you can look for ITF and HTF trends. And also please don't forget I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So that I request you pause the video, study the report, and then proceed to the next report. Follow the same rules to remaining all the reports. Next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain report for Nifty. Next, generating 125-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 75-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 25-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. The nearest demand zone to the current closing price is serial number 19. Maybe I will slightly adjust in the middle of the page. Okay. So this is a Nifty supply demand zone chain report. Next, I will generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Changing the name to Nifty Bank. That is nothing but Bank Nifty. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So we have completed Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So that means we have completed the generation of both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports. Next, we will look into sideways bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. Starting with monthly income trade, entry time frame is daily. Sideways long trade setup entries on demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame daily. I am selecting sideways long, and the zone achievement should always be violated opposing zone, and the minimum odd enhancer score for sideways trade setup should be 11. Okay. Now both these filters, zone achievement and minimum odd enhancer, but I am not selecting pierced zone third parameter only for daily, but 75 minutes onwards we will filter based on that. Because pierced zones, anything if you identify from this list, you can apply pierced zone strategies rather than using bullish, bearish or sideways trade setups. Okay, now both these, because we selected two filters, both these filters are applied to daily demand zone. Let's filter. So 6 stocks are currently supporting sideways long trade setup for monthly income trade, and entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Okay, next sideways short trade setup for monthly income trade. The changes are daily supply zone, and one more change, sideways short trade setup. This time both these filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. sideways short trade setup. Entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. This is already tested once. Next, bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. The changes are daily demand zone, and here it should be bullish, and minimum odd and enhance score should be 12. Now let's filter. We got 16 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, and entry time frame zones are these are all daily demand zones. Okay, out of these 16, there could be some even more high probability trade setup supported zones might be available. So let us filter them based on different zone confluence and then EMA confluence strategies. Okay, first filter is in the demand zone confluence. Daily and weekly demand zone confluence filter I am enabling. Daily means LTF, weekly means ITF. So that means LTF and ITF demand zone confluence we are further filtering by applying on those 16 stocks. Out of 16, 15 are filtered. That means in all these 15 stocks, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. That means daily zone is a part of the weekly zone. Because daily is part of weekly, now you can further filter with weekly demand zones with weekly EMA confluence, because weekly trend is uptrend in all the stocks. Because EMA should not be used only in sideways. But here trend is uptrend, ITF trend, see. So that's why let us filter further so that we can identify more high probability trade setup supported zones. In the EMA confluence at a weekly time frame, because the daily demand zone is overlapped with weekly demand zone, so we are checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA or not. Anyway, weekly trend is uptrend. So we got 9 stocks. That way, these daily demand zones which are overlapped with weekly demand zone, those weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. So that way these daily demand zones are having more high probability to get success compared to the others. Provide lesson 20 checklist should be supported. If lesson 20 checklist is not satisfied, these zones might be violated. You should not forget that point. Okay. Next, we will further filter based on LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That means daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence supported stocks. So I am going back, removing ITF filter. Now we are focusing on even HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter daily and weekly already enabled. Next, daily and monthly demand zone confluence, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone, both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. In all the 6 stocks. And monthly trend is uptrend in only 4 stocks, except first and 6th. So that's why let us ignore the first and 6th and remaining 4 stocks. Let us verify how many monthly how many monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA confluence, so that the overlapped daily demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA or not. At the same time, the trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It should be uptrend. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks. That way these 3 daily demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success, provide lesson 20 concepts are supported. The checklist in lesson 20. So this is bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Okay, next we will generate bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone supply zone, bullish or bearish. At a daily time frame I am selecting bearish, Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd and enhanced score 12. Now both these filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. Out of these 3 daily supply zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is nothing but daily and weekly supply zone confluence. We enable the filter. By applying the filter, we got all 3 stocks. That means in all the 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And also weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks. We can further filter based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. Let's filter. So 2 stocks are filtered. That way, these 2 daily supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First one is already enabled. Next, daily and monthly supply zone confluence. Next, weekly and monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. But monthly trend is sideways. Sideways trend EMA confluence does not give any advantage. So we are not verifying. So this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So we have completed monthly income trade reports. So next we will generate weekly income trade reports. Weekly income trade entry time frame is 75 minutes. So entry zone is demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways at 75 minutes time frame. I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 11. And also 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting minimum value 0 and the maximum value 0. That means the 75 minute zone should not be pierced. Which 75? The 75 minutes demand zone. So pierced count, minimum odd enhancer, zone achievement. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. So we got 2 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for a weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Next, sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes supply zone and one more change, sideways short. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes supply zone. We got 7 stocks supporting sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zones in all the stocks. Okay, sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. Next up, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes demand zone. Here bullish and also minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. All these 75 minutes demand zones. So 11 stocks we got. Out of these 11 75 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. I enable the filter. By applying the filter on the 11 stocks, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with the daily demand zone. And daily trend is uptrend in all the stocks. So let's further filter based on daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am checking daily demand zone having daily EMA or not. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. So these 6 75 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied, otherwise zones might be violated. Next, we will filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence, that is 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Let us filter. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next, 75 and weekly, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. With all 3 filters, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with the daily demand zone, both together again overlapped with weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, if any weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then the overlapped 75 minutes demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA or not. At the same time, the trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So we got 2 stocks. That way these 2 75 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability compared to the other stocks. Provide lesson 20 checklist item should support. So this is about a bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zone is 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish at 75 minutes time frame. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. And also 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in this pierced count at 75 minutes, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 9 stocks. These 9 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. All these are all 75 minute supply zones, entry time frame zones. So total 9 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Out of these 9 75 minute supply zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on this zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is nothing but 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. So I am enabling that filter. After applying this filter, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with the daily supply zone. And daily trend is a downtrend in all the stocks. Let's further filter if any of the daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 75 minutes supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. So I am going back, setting the filter, EMA confluence. If any of the 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Sorry, not this one, because 75 is overlapped with daily. So we have to check if any of the daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. This is the filter. So 2 stocks are filtered. That way, these 2 75-minute supply zones might be having better high probability to get success. So already one of these stocks is already tested twice. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly supply zone confluence supported stocks. I am going back, removing a EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. In that first filter is already enabled. That is 75 and daily. Next 75 minutes and weekly and daily and weekly supply zone confluence with all the 3 filters. We did not get any stocks. So this is about the bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Okay, next let us look into daily income trade reports. We have completed weekly income trade reports. Next, daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is the demand zone. Bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting sideways long. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and hands score should be 11 for sideways. And the third filter 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? 15 minutes demand zone. Because all the 3 filters are applying to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. So we got 3 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. See, one of these zones is already tested twice. Okay, next sideways short trade setup. The changes are 15 minutes supply zone and also here sideways short. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. Now 4 stocks are filtered. Sideways short trade setup for daily income trade and entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. Okay, next we will look into bullish trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are 15 minutes demand zone and here bullish and also minimum odd and hands score should be 12. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. So we got 2 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 2, how many are having ITF confluence? Let's verify. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. We got both the stocks. And in both the stocks, 15 minutes demand zones overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone and 75 minutes trend is uptrend in both the stocks. Let's further filter if any 75 minutes demand zone is having daily EMA confluence. None of them are filtered. So they are not high probability. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. I removed the EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First one is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily, 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. With all 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. So this is about bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish at 15 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and hands score 12. And also 75 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes entry time frame, minimum value 0 and maximum value 0 with all the filters. Sorry, the mistake I made here is it should be 15 minutes demand zone, not 75. Because the daily income trade, bearish trade setup, 15 minutes supply zone, not demand zone, 15 minutes supply zone. Bearish trade setup, daily income trade, 15 minutes supply zone, that's why we selected 15 minutes bearish. Now all the three filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. Let's filter. We got 18 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list that are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade and entry. All these entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. All these 15 minutes supply zones. So first 15 stocks. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 18 stocks are filtered. Okay, out of these 18 15-minute supply zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. By enabling this filter on those 18 stocks, now the list is come down to 17 stocks. Almost same list, one stock is reduced. Okay, first 15 in the list. Even Nifty Bank is also there. This 15 minutes supply zone overlapped with 75 minutes supply zone. Scrolling the list down. Total 17 stocks are filtered. Out of these 17, again we will filter based on 75 minutes supply zone with daily EMA confluence, because 75 minutes trend is down in all the stocks. Let's further filter. EMA confluence at 75 minutes. I'm checking how many 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, because 75 minutes trend is downtrend. So we got 4 stocks. So that way these 4 supply zones are having more high probability to get success. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That means 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. Removing EMA filter, supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. Enabled all the 3 filters. With this, we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, all these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. Sorry. 15 minutes with, correct only. 15 minutes with 75 minutes, both together with daily supply zone confluence. And the daily trend is down in only 2 stocks. Let's verify if any of these 2 stocks daily supply zone having daily EMA or not. And also trend should not be sideways and daily. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So none of the stocks are having daily. So as per this strategy, we don't have any high probability trade setup supported zones. So this is about the daily income trade. Next, we will generate hourly income trade reports. For hourly income trade, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or bearish or sideways at 5 minutes. I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 11 for sideways, and also 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 2 stocks. And they are supporting hourly income trade, sideways long trade setup, and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. Next, sideways short trade setup for hourly income trade. The changes are 5 minutes supply zone, and here sideways short. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. Hourly income trade, sideways short trade setup. Entry time frame zones are 5 minutes supply zones. Okay. Next, bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. The changes are 5 minutes demand zone. Here it is bullish, and a minimum odd and enhancer score should be 12. With these filters, we got 2 stocks. Bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Let's verify out of these two how many are having ITF Confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone Confluence. So both are having a 5 minutes demand zone Confluence. Let's verify out of those two, any of them are having 15 minutes, because 5 minutes overlapped with 15. So let's check any 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. None of them are having. Fine. Removing the EMA filter, let us check LTF, ITF, and even HTF demand zone Confluence supported stocks. Already we set this filter 5 minutes and 15 minutes. 5 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. All three filters are enabled. Now both the stocks are having even LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone Confluence. That means both these 5 minutes demand zones overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up. So let's verify if any 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So none of them are having EMA Confluence. That means we did not find any high probability trade setup supported zones for hourly income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish or sideways at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd and enhancer score 12, and also 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got several stocks. 22 stocks are filtered, supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. So first 15 stocks in the list. NIFTY Bank, NIFTY Financial Services are also there in this list. I'm scrolling the list down. Total 22 stocks are filtered. In all the 22 stocks, the entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. So we got 22 5 minute supply zones. Some of them are already tested. See here. Okay, out of these 22, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone Confluence. First filter is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone Confluence. Let us apply that filter on these 22 stocks. So in the supply zone Confluence, I am enabling the filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone Confluence. By applying this filter on the 22 stocks, now the list is come down to 18 stocks. In all these stocks, 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone, including NIFTY Bank and NIFTY Financial Services. Okay, anyway, first 15 stocks in the list, all the supply zones, 5-minute supply zones you should focus. Scrolling the list down, total 18 stocks are filtered. But this is not good enough. We need to further filter based on the EMA also. Because 5-minute supply zone overlapped with 15-minute supply zone, let's verify if out of these 18, how many 15-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 5-minute supply zone might be having better probability. So I'm going back. EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame. I'm checking 15-minute supply zone having daily EMA or not, because 15 minutes trend is downtrend. So 4 stocks are filtered. That way these 4 5-minute supply zones might be having some better probability. In general, hourly income trade success rate is less, but still can focus on this. If any of the zones are violated, you can focus on TCO zones also, trend change horizon strategy also, that you land in lesson 25. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I am removing this filter. Supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we got 10 stocks. In these 10 stocks, all these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with the 15-minute supply zone. Again, both together are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend, HTF trend is down, and a few sideways trend also there. Ignore them. Only in the downtrend supported stocks, let us verify if any of the 75-minute supply zone having daily EMA or not. In that case, the overlapped 5-minute supply zone inside 75-minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence. I'm checking if any of the 75-minute supply zones are having daily EMA. But some are having sideways trend. Let us eliminate those zones. At 75 minutes, trend should not be sideways. It should be only downtrend, because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So 2 stocks are filtered. That way these 2 5-minute supply zones might be having better high probability to get success. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. With this, we have completed generation of all the income trade reports. Okay, next I will generate finding the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Okay, starting with a yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 1 stock. Next, price closed inside the yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame, half yearly. Stocks near to the half yearly demand zone, no stocks. Stocks near to the half yearly supply zone, also no stocks. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, we got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Next time frame is a quarterly. Stocks near to the quarterly demand zone, we got 1 stock. Next, stocks near to the quarterly supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 13 stocks. We can further filter for high probability zones based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. And also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways when you are selecting EMA. So trend could be up or down. So now the list is come down to 7 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 15 stocks. Out of these 15, we can further filter based on how many quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. And also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. Okay, next time frame is monthly. Stocks near to the monthly demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next, stocks near to the monthly supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got 17 stocks. We can further filter this list based on monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. And also trend on the monthly up or down, but not sideways. So we got 7 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. I am quickly scrolling the list down for your reference purpose. After that, we will filter further with EMA confluence. Okay, out of these 42, how many are having monthly supply zone with monthly EMA confluence? Let us verify. And also trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It could be up or down. Now the list is reduced to 17 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 17 stocks. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near to the weekly demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone. We got 11 stocks. Next, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. First 17 stocks in this list. I am scrolling the list down. Total 24 stocks are filtered. We can further filter with weekly demand zones having weekly EMA confluence. And trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now the list is come down to 11 stocks. All these 11 weekly demand zones having weekly EMA confluence. Trend on the weekly is not sideways and current prices are closed inside the weekly demand zone. That way these weekly zones are having better high probability compared to the others. Okay, similarly price closed inside the weekly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Quickly scrolling the list down for the reference purpose. So total 55 stocks. We can further filter based on weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, we got 13 stocks. These 13 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA and trend on the weekly is not sideways and also current price closed inside the weekly supply zone. So this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame daily already generated in the beginning of the report. So I am generating next time frame 125 minutes reports. Stocks near demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 125 minute supply zone. We got 12 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes, stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. But 75 already we generated, so I'm going to the 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone, we got 7 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minutes supply zone, we got 13 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone, we got 5 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 15 minutes supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone, we got 7 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 5 minutes supply zone, we got 7 stocks. So with this, we have completed finding stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. So in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down, whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that, you can proceed further. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.